In Japan, they have square fruit. It's very, very expensive. Like an apple, a square apple costs $100. And nobody buys a square apple and then goes home and eats it while they watch Netflix. People buy square fruit in Japan to give to other people as a kind of flex. Look at me, I'm so rich, I can buy an apple that costs $100 just to give it to you. How do they make this square fruit? They get, when the fruit starts to bud on the branch or the vine or whatever, they put a box around the fruit, so when it expands and fits to the shape of the box. And so it ends up being square. This is a good way to think about how our instincts formed. Way back in the days of hunter-gatherers, where we lived for 200,000 years, the constraints of that environment was kind of like the box. And our instincts, to help us survive, had to grow as strong as they possibly could within the constraints of that box. And that's how our instincts are calibrated. And once you understand human instincts, and you understand that human instincts are essentially non-negotiable, we can't really ignore our instincts. You can use human instincts. You can leverage human instincts in your persuasion of other people. Because if you take your persuasive message and you target other people at the instinctive level, they won't have any choice but to follow your ideas, because instincts are non-negotiable. So the first step is to understand our ancient life way. Understand what life was like back then, so we can kind of reverse engineer what our instincts were within that context. And then once we understand human instincts, you can persuade them at the instinctive level. And the first idea of our ancient life way was that everybody knew everybody. Everybody was familiar with everybody else. Everybody had grown up together. Everybody was in absolute deep rapport with everybody else. If you saw somebody, you knew exactly who they were. You knew exactly what kind of personality they had. You knew their sense of humor. You probably knew exactly what their crap smelled like. You never had to talk to anybody that you didn't know. This is why almost everybody has social anxiety today. We go into a situation, we see all these strangers, we have no idea what to make of that, or our instincts have no idea what to make of that. Back in the days of hunter-gatherers, the only time we ever met people we didn't know was when we were with our entire tribe, when we were either trading with them or fighting with them. But you never ever ran into anybody that you didn't know. Everybody that you did everything with all day long, every day, was somebody you were intimately familiar with. Think about somebody you know today. Think about the closest friend you have, or the closest family member that you have. Somebody that you feel the most comfortable with. Chances are that bond you have with that person is probably not nearly as strong as the bond we felt with everybody in our tribe back then. So that's the first idea, is that everybody knew everybody. The second idea is the idea of a Dunbar group, or a Dunbar number. This is based on anthropologist Robin Dunbar, who came up with the idea that we have space in our head for about 100, 150 people. And space means when we see them, we instantly know exactly who they are. By facial recognition, we remember everything about them. We remember all of our experiences with them. We remember all their personality types, and we see this people and they belong in our Dunbar group. But if you go through the world and you see other people, they're outsiders. They don't belong in your Dunbar group. Now, people back in the days of hunter-gatherers, everybody was in your Dunbar group, and the people that were outside, you thought of them much differently. This is critical to understand, and it's something that's very, very difficult to talk about in modern times, particularly in modern politics. But the way we think about people inside of our Dunbar group is massively different than the way we think of people outside of our Dunbar group. Inside of our Dunbar group, there's massive egalitarianism. We share everything. We work together. We live and die together. We will fight to the death to protect each other. But the people outside of our Dunbar group, they don't even really count as humans. There's this really, really interesting theory that we have a genetic mutation to protect us from getting something called prions disease. Prions disease is what you get if you eat other people. If you become a cannibal and you eat other people as your only source of food, you'll develop prions disease. But the theory is that we have a genetic marker. This is an identifiable, accepted genetic marker that keeps us from getting prions disease. So this suggests that humans were eating other humans for long enough time to develop a genetic defense against the disease we would get from eating other humans. So humans were cannibals, not just sometimes, but whenever there was no food, humans were the next go-to source of food. And we ate people outside of our Dunbar group. The point of this is that inside of our Dunbar group, we loved each other. We took care of each other. But outside of our Dunbar group, these people were so low on the totem pole as far as human value, they were potential food. And so in modern times, the people inside of our tribe and the people outside of our tribe are two completely different categories. The next idea is that life was essentially a competition. Everybody had the same problems. Everybody wanted the same solutions. And the solutions were the same for everybody. It wasn't like today where we have an argument of, I want to go to Chinese food, you want to go get Mexican food. I want to see a romantic comedy, you want to see a thriller, a science fiction thriller. I want to go here on vacation, you want to go there on vacation. We didn't have these problems back then. Everybody had the same problems. We want to kill that animal, we want to eat that animal. How can we best do that? So everybody competed to solve these common problems. And the reason we competed is because whoever came up with the best answer, the best solution, they got the rewards from everybody else. And this was a very, very selfish endeavor. This was not based on some kind of ancient social contract where you did things just because that's what you were supposed to do. Everybody was motivated from their own selfish interest to solve problems of the tribe. Because if you were the one that could become the best storyteller, everybody treated you like a rock star. If you were the best hunter, everybody would treat you like a rock star. You would get genuine appreciation, validation, respect, and gratitude from everybody, and everybody wanted that special treatment. So everybody competed with everybody else to solve common problems, and that was essentially the purpose of life back in the days of hunter-gatherers. Everybody's purpose was to be the best solver of common problems, and we can see this echoing today. Everybody wants to solve the problems of society. Everybody wants to be the best athlete, the best singer, the best entertainer, the best YouTuber, the best problem solver of problems, the best describer of problems. It's the same kind of contest echoing today, but back then it was very, very simple. The prime directive of life back then was to be the most productive person, to be the most value generating person, to be the person that could solve the problems of society the most, to get the wonderful rewards. And that was what life was like back then. And that is what drove our instincts. And you can see these instincts resonating everywhere today.